Howdy. So, Krav Maga myth number 4. And this is not something we see in every Krav Maga school. And I'm actually really happy that seems to have shifted a lot over the last few years. Like, it's definitely not something that is as common as it used to be. I'm also specifically differentiating between Krav Maga and self-defense here because they're not exactly the same. If you're learning the kind of pure definition of self-defense, let's say this kind of stuff that Chris Roberts or Pam Armitage or Richard Dimitri talk about, where it's more about prevention and working with vulnerable populations, which is that's the true essence of self-defense. I absolutely agree. Then what I'm about to say is not as relevant, right? But when we're looking at dealing with actual violence once you've gotten to the physical stage, especially more from a Krav Maga perspective, where there may be a more specific demographic that comes to train in those kind of classes, and I'm not going to say anything else about that, is that idea that in order to be able to, let's say, physically defend yourself from a variety of types of attacks, you don't need to spar, wrestle, roll, or do any kind of live training. Now, obviously that depends on the age and mental state and trauma experience and life experience of people who are in your training and what they want to get out of the training. That being said, if you're in a Krav Maga school and your role is, or your idea of training is, I want to train for X number of years to get a black belt, to be competent in all these different things, you have to spar, you have to roll, you have to wrestle. If you're just thinking, see previous couple of videos, I'll just kick them in the balls, I'll just punch them in the throat, I'll just put a finger in their eye, guaranteed that is going to crumble under pressure if you've never done that against a live training partner, at least, right? So rather than just say, spar, wrestle, and roll, we can maybe translate that to a live training, like the same kind of concept that Matt Thornton talks about a lot, which really means we got to train with unpredictable responses, with contact, whatever level of contact it is will change, right? And with resistance. In other words, I'm really trying to apply the technique on somebody who is trying to do something to me and doesn't want me to apply something to them. If you're not training like that, you're setting yourself up for failure. So it's not necessarily rolling, sparring, and wrestling per se, as much as just a live training. But those elements, rolling, sparring, wrestling, are really good because that's when you get to apply those things against, in an alive way, with people who are going to try and stop you and do something back to you. So if you don't do that as a regular part of your training, you're probably not doing Krav Maga, you're probably doing more of a martial art. If you don't like that, tough luck.